Welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today. As usual, we're going to talk about XRP today, so I hope everyone is having a fantastic day wherever they are in the world. And I must begin with Sean McBride's statement. The new Tinder offer from Ripple implies since they value the firm at $30 billion, 0 cents, it would be the largest IPO in history if they filed for one, which they will not. This is the reason Ripple will not submit an IPO application. The money isn't actually necessary for them. Listen to this out. As you are aware, I have invested in the industry and continue to do so. Therefore, take a moment to look at the balance sheet. Additionally, there were $3 billion in cash and many billions of other assets when I last checked. Indeed, $3 billion in cash and countless billions in other assets then. Ripple does not need to do an IPO because of this. And Ripple will keep making acquisitions in this manner, giving XRP greater usefulness and worth. On the XRP ledger, tokenized treasuries become active. This is enormous as well. Thus, institutional access is unlocked by Ondo Finance's OUSG through smooth minting and redemptions through Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin. The idea of tokenization is no longer limited to pilot projects and white papers. Rather, as the Boston Consulting Group and Ripple point out in their recent paper, it is poised to reimagine the global financial infrastructure. By 2033, a $19 trillion, 0 cents, market will have been created thanks to asset tokenization, which will transform static assets into dynamic programmable tools. It will occur well in advance of 2033. According to the World Economic Forum, the tokenization market is expected to reach $867 trillion, 0 cents by 2030. They intend to tokenize all valuable assets. Today is a tangible step toward that future. The short-term US government treasuries that Ondo finances are now active on the XRP ledger. Waiting for things to happen is no longer an option. Real-time events are now taking place. The XRP ledger had a huge victory. Bill Morgan, an XRP attorney, claims that Ripple's recent collaboration with Guggenheim is revolutionary for the XRP ledger. In the most recent development, Ripple has teamed up with Guggenheim, a US investment management, to introduce DCP, a digital commercial paper on the XRP ledger. Guggenheim Treasury Services is able to list its US Treasury-backed asset on the XRP ledger thanks to this partnership. These days, announcement after announcement is being made, and all of these will increase XRP's value. Now, with all of this fantastic news, people would immediately say, look at the price of XRP. And at the moment, everything is fantastic news. The true worth is revealed later. In the upcoming weeks, I anticipate that the price of XRP will begin to fluctuate. The price of XRP would be as follows if its market capitalization reached 8% of the US M2 money supply. I detest these stories because they constantly highlight the correlation between Bitcoin and the M2 money supply, a topic that Bitcoin investors frequently discuss. They also claim that we would be looking at $29.73 XRP if it were to hit 8% of the M2 money supply. However, as XRP investors, we are unconcerned with market capitalization. Utility is important to us. The demand for XRP is important to us. Institutional adoption is important to us. And at the moment, everyone is forecasting an XRP of $20, 0 cents or higher. Here are the implications for the price of XRP. Should war formation drive the market capitalization of XRP to $1,500 billion, 0 cents? They are discussing market capitalization once more. This is also where the W pan is located. It resembles a cup and handle design. And according to Greg, a $25, 0 cents XRP would be expected if this were to happen. Therefore, people that you listen to, everyone who is now working on the charts, they are all saying the same thing. XRP is over $20, 0 cents during this run. We go much higher with utility and all of the XRP catalysts, but in this run, everyone could anticipate $20, 0 cents or more. Take whatever amount of XRP you have on hand, multiply it by $20, 0 cents, and see what you get. A $20, 0 cents XRP would make most of you extremely happy. I still think we go higher though. By the second quarter, XRP Ledger will have a side chain ready to handle Ethereum dApps. Therefore, during the Apex 2025 event in Singapore, David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, verified the development. Therefore, the XRP Ledger will gain a lot of value if the Ethereum virtual machine and EVM compatible side chain launches in the second quarter of 2025. And over time, it will add a great deal of value and utility to XRP. But it's also huge since there are already over 87 projects building on it. including infrastructure teams like Squid Router and Secured Labs, as well as well-known DeFi companies like Stro Finance and Vertex Protocol. There's more. The fact that many of these teams have no prior connections to the XRP ecosystem shows how much new interest this sidechain is creating. There will be a ton of projects added to the XRP ledger as a result. Additionally, the majority of these projects focus on tokenization, remittances, cross-border payments, and tokenization of real-world assets. There will be a lot of tokenization. It will significantly improve the value of the XRP ledger. Additionally, XRP will be transferring that value globally. Cloture is passed by the Genius Act. Thus, it appears like the Genius Act is moving forward once more. All they have to do is get something over the finish line. I anticipate a boom for all of cryptocurrency after this is over. The goal of everything that is going on in Washington at the moment is to advance innovation. According to Senator John Thune, cryptocurrencies are here to stay. Listen to it. A sizable portion of Americans are using cryptocurrencies. Americans who use stable coins are included in this. Additionally, there are people and companies all over the world that use stable coinage backed by the US dollar to access the US currency. Stable coins are still a relatively new financial concept, but their popularity has grown rapidly. They provide simple payments using the stability and usefulness of the dollar note, along with the speed and security of the blockchain. They currently have almost $250 billion in circulation. According to reports, established financial institutions are thinking about entering the stablecoin market. Additionally, it has been suggested that organizations such as Uber and Airbnb are considering incorporating them into their operations. Cryptocurrency is here to stay, according to one president, and it's time for us to make it more widely known. The Genius Act passage is a wise first move. Stablecoins would have a defined regulatory structure thanks to the Genius Act. When Americans buy stablecoins, it would guarantee that they can trust the person they're doing business with, enabling them to confidently exercise their financial independence. Additionally, the Genius Act would provide protection from criminal behavior and risks to our national security. Stablecoin issuers would have to follow the same guidelines as other financial organizations in order to keep an eye out for and report suspicious activity, adhere to US sanctions, and stop illegal transactions. And for that reason, that bill is quite significant. It will advance innovation and put everything on the path to a stable digital dollar currency. They will be using XRP on a daily basis, but it will be like that obscure cryptocurrency that no one notices. It is going to be the money-moving invisible key. Clear crypto regulations from Monica Long translate into a surge in global innovation. Listen to this. More than anything, I believe it's regulatory clarity, as you are aware, has occasionally taken time to reach where we are now. However, things have never been better. Singapore is undoubtedly a pioneer in this area by offering regulatory certainty through MAS, but markets all over the world, including most recently the US, with the change of government and a lot of progress gaining speed on legislation, it's really opened up. This indicates that we have a lengthy history of working with institutions, was a reference to our initial engagement with big banks. When you speak with those who handle money and custody in institutions, they understand. They want to collaborate with businesses like ours because they comprehend the value proposition and find it attractive. However, the risk simply wasn't worth the uncertainty or overhang over how the regulators would handle this action. Thus, in my opinion, this is the decisive moment. That is the decisive moment. That's right. I believe that regulatory clarity has truly been a turning point. All right, gradually, then all at once. Yes, exactly. That's what it reminds me of. I believe it's a quotation by Ernest Hemingway, which goes, "Pay attention to what Brad said slowly then, all at once." We're going to witness that as well. Now, they seem to be attempting to get RLUSD through all of these channels. We have yet to receive that clarification from the United States. However, everything will happen as quickly as an overnight occurrence once that understanding is established. That might be the